Hey there. Good morning, everybody. We've got... Where's our little crow? There he is. I hope you're all having a great day. There's a bit of a warning on this video. It's going to be boring. Is there a boring warning? A boring warning. Say that 10 times, right? Okay, so part of it is going to be about safe place. Alrighty, here we go. Here we go. And once again, this place is not super popular. Remember, I think I told you that they were in another building, and we're heading over there to sort of begin our experience, as it were. Community, there's that word again, right? Community education, Lord knows what that means. But, well, there's their helpline. The only problem is they don't seem to have any customers. In fact, hey there, little guy. Okay. In fact, I've noticed that recently they put in one of these little things you see in mini marts. You know, just to even let people know that they are open. I'd wondered about them because I never saw any cars or anything there. We're talking pre-COVID. We're talking about when they first came about. Now, this is fascinating because what I learned the other night was that the front is the parking for customers. I never see anyone in the front. And I assumed, wow, they don't have any workers either. Not the case. 1, 2, 3, well, you know, we've got a little line of cars here. So they're all getting paid to be social workers at a place that nobody seems to be going to. And so one wonders, how long do you get to do that? How long do you get to have the business that nobody goes to ever? You know, how long, you know, I guess in their own words, how is that even sustainable? Oh boy. Now it's like a Fitzgerald novel, right? Didn't he always have the optometrist eye? The Illuminati eye. Okay, so now we are going to head to their old days. And this will kind of lay a bit of the groundwork. Good morning. Yes, we drive by yet another non-prof here, getting all kind of money. Alright, so here we are at, well, here, we'll turn up. Here is the old safe place. It was in this house, which is probably now beginning to fall apart because it's been vacant. But it was a really sort of perfect, in a perfect place kind of thing, right downtown. And there were always like tons of people on the porch. For as useless as these entities are, at least this one seemed to kind of attract people to it. There were always kind of people hanging out in back, and then you had like your upset mothers, although I do know a man who went to Safe Place once and he was kicked out and told that men could not be abused. So that was a weird thing because he was in danger. This is the Y. The YW or YMCA. So this was kind of a perfect place because if you had people in trauma, like these women that were escaping abusive men, they could, you know, leave the child at the Y, and then run there. So there was always a lot of kind of activity. Once again, Safe Place was totally useless, but at least it looked like a Carole King album inside. It looked like tapestry. It had, you know, the pretty high old ceilings, the kind of boho look with the, you know, it was not like the other non-profs here that all sort of smell weird inside and are just kind of creepy. Oops, sorry, I think something got to me there. This is just poor little Olympia. That's it for you, you know. And oh yeah, see, Olympia. So I think I was telling you I had an inside scoop, not really super inside, but the man, if you see my video last night, that I met this man, he lived at our place for a while when I was on the commune, and he married the woman who I didn't really know. I only met her just a couple of times, but she was the one who worked at Safe Place. And I think if you remember, I said, oh, that's so cool. What does she do at Safe Place? Right? I'm just trying to ingratiate myself. But he said she would never deign to go into one. You know, she's way above that. You know, her job is to fly around and like go to Washington, D.C., and to other places in her region, other cities. Basically, it was like glorified beggary. Well, it dawned on me last night, because I'm so darn slow, that she was probably responsible for bitching about that house wasn't good enough, and that they needed more space, and that they needed more facility, and blah, blah, blah this, and blah, blah, blah that. And now what do you have? You've got a building. Oh, I love this. You've got to love this. There's this sign on the back door there, staff only, right? So, you know, you've got your little kingdom here, staff only. That's all it ever is there, is staff only. No one shows up at this place. So that's fascinating that woman went, lobbied for tax dollars, whined and screamed about how everyone's being beaten in Olympia and running to Safe Place, and now nobody goes there ever. I really thought it had like shut down or something, because there's never a car in the front. If there is, and I sit and watch, it's always just someone who works there who's like running in to grab something or tending to their peas outside that they planted. I've never actually like really seen like anyone going in there. So now it's like, how do they justify being there if they're only paying themselves just to go? And what about the woman who we pay as taxpayers to fly around and ask for more money for a service that obviously no one needs or wants? You know, and also the one good thing about it, that it was in that really cute house that seemed to at least generate some kind of like little hangout drama, whatever, that was sort of more inviting, you know. So you wonder about the Moses Singer effect. I don't know if any of you know about Moses Singer. I did not until I moved to New York, but he was considered like, you know, he had like all this power and put freeways in through really famous, beautiful streets in New York, and he didn't even ever have a driver's license. It was kind of a creepy thing, but he was known for taking, you know, soulful architecture away and bringing in the soulless, hateful architecture. Now let's see, what are we paying for? We're paying for Volkswagens with Lays. That's a great big nice car there. These are all, you know, people being paid for doing zero, and even worse, the one being paid that's too good to go into any of the facilities did something counterproductive. She got probably a few million for them to leave the place that people actually were kind of going into a bit, you know. So, you know, that one had more inviting architecture. You know, we could just really go on and on into the, you know, levels of depravity. And this is only one place, right? This isn't the Grand Dame, shall I call it, Planned Parenthood, which also just, you know, who knows how much these places rake in. And I guess I can tell you about how I even, you know, you start to kind of key in on these things. And it's sad how we do, but we do. You know, it wasn't like I woke up one day and said, wow, I want to like learn everything about these creepy non-profs that just quietly, you know, and this is very cloven, what is it? The cloven hooves, some people call it. Cloward Priven, who talked about how to bring down the U.S. They were really big Saul Alinsky couple back in Berkeley. And part of, you know, they had like a three-pronged thing. One was to get rid of borders. One was, you know, they, you know, all these ways to kind of bleed the country dry. And one of the things, I think, one of their prongs was bleed it dry with stuff like this. You know, and it's stuff nobody notices. People drive by this all the time. So what? There's a few cars with some social workers. You know, they're not going to notice. But when you look at the bigger picture, and once again, taking away the one good thing, Tom Nogler, who I've talked about and have filmed here, who passed away last year, he had worked for a while at Behavioral Health Resources, and it was a similar deal. And it was really funny because the few things that may have been redeemable about it would always get taken away, you know. And so, yeah, the one redeemable thing about that safe place was that it was somehow generating some kind of a little bit of activity. So how long are they going to last? Do they just get to sort of be, you know, forever and ever? And once again, they don't do anything. It's just a place, right, that just says, you know, community education, or, you know, whatever it is that it wants to say to make itself feel better about itself. But what do they actually do? What are the results, right? I don't know. I've never seen any. And all I've heard from people who've ever gone there for help was that they say they can't help them. You know, that they're just a community resource center, and, you know, that's it. So anyway, you know, I know this is boring. It's more archival than really anything else. But it's kind of getting into really the deep nitty-gritty of where are our tax dollars going, and are they going to sort of purposely, by design, bleed us dry, right? And it's just another destructive force out there. Much love.